Welcome to PFG Credit Counseling. I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci, and I'll tell you everything I think you need to know about how to consolidate or eliminate debt, how to keep what you have to keep, how to protect your home, vehicles, and pension, and the implications of each. This course is useful to anyone who wants to know how to manage their debt, and I hope you learn a lot. Reports in financial media all say that debt is holding this country back. If you have to repay debt, you have to cut your spending. Cutting spending hurts the economy. The only way to recover sometimes is to restructure or eliminate your debt. General Motors, Chrysler, and United Airlines would not be operating today if they had not successfully reorganized their debt under the U.S. bankruptcy law. It's not against the law to restructure your debt. In fact, bankruptcy law is exactly how you restructure your debt with no tax consequences. Try to understand that credit is the ability to borrow money. If you have a lot of debts, you don't have good credit, you have good debt. Too much debt is bad credit, since you can't borrow money, or you have to pay high interest if you have too much debt already. You are a bad credit risk if you have too much debt in relation to your income, your savings, and you have no home equity. And in addition, if your debts are past due, you're probably done with credit unless you eliminate your debts first. Credit counseling by a licensed financial counselor that you meet with in person, not over the internet, may work if you only have credit cards, and only a few of them, and are able to make monthly payments big enough to make a dent in them, and you're able to manage your other debt. But credit counseling does not work on lawsuits, mortgages, vehicles, taxes, support obligations, payday loans, utilities, and many other debts. That is what bankruptcy is designed to do. Either a repayment bankruptcy, Chapter 13, or a discharge of some debts, Chapter 7, while you pay others that you can afford or must keep. I will discuss both options. My goal is to educate you about how to get out of debt, not to sell you anything or tell you about plans that don't work. Because I'm an attorney, I must tell you this is an educational program. I'm not giving you legal advice on your specific situation, and no attorney-client relationship is created by taking this course. You should consult an attorney in person, not on the internet, who will look at your situation and give you specific legal advice. You should meet with that attorney or licensed attorney face-to-face in your local area. Never deal with an internet-based company that wants you to send them money. Always deal with a local credit counselor that has an office you can go to. The same goes for referral sites that advertise bankruptcy or credit counseling and have no attorney, no name, no license on them. You can tell these sites. They usually have a map of the United States and ask you to click on a state and give them information. What they do, these are lead generators, is sell you to someone you don't know who pays them $50 or so for your name. Too many people are getting terrible advice over the internet that they try to use. Thousands of people have lost thousands of dollars each sending money to internet fraud schemes, posing as licensed credit counselors, or posing as bankruptcy or loan modification attorneys or debt settlement operations. Go to someone with a face or a name and an office you can go into, or deal with your creditors directly. Borrowing more money is not the way to get out of debt. Restructuring to pay debt at a reduced interest rate, either by agreement or by bankruptcy, is the only way to reduce debt and eventually get rid of it. Borrowing more will only create more problems. Refinancing may simply create a lower payment, but it usually increases the debt. The longer it takes to get debt paid, the more it usually costs to pay it. Don't beat yourself up. Reach out and press the restart button and do something to get yourself out of debt and get a fresh start. You'll feel a lot better with a plan. Number one, how you got into debt. There's a saying that goes, you don't know where you're going until you know where you've been. The same can be said about your finances. If you do not understand how you got into debt, you are destined to repeat the same mistake. Debt happens to everyone. I have filed bankruptcies for doctors, single moms, and disabled seniors. Most people do not plan on becoming overwhelmed by their debt, but something happens. They're left with little income and a lot of bills. It's important to recognize warning signs and be able to handle problems when they arise. After your bankruptcy is complete, it's up to you to change your lifestyle and prevent problems before they begin. Problems like job loss, divorce, medical bills, bad luck can force someone into bankruptcy. It doesn't matter if you make $200,000 a year or $20,000 a year. If you have debt you cannot afford, you need to seek financial help. You have found help from an attorney, and now it's important to realize how you got to this point. You may have called the bankruptcy attorney for a number of reasons. One of the major causes of debt is reduction of income or job loss. Many people will budget using overtime pay and find themselves coming up short each month if overtime or hours are cut. Some people will use bonuses as a way to pay off a debt, instead of putting the money in a bank account. The truth is, over 70% of Americans say they are living paycheck to paycheck. If you're one of these people and lost your job, your unemployment benefits may be less than your regular paycheck. Unemployment can run out, or you may not qualify, leaving you with an income of zero. If you've lost income, you may be tempted to use credit to pay for monthly expenses like groceries. But keep in mind, credit cards are not an extension of your unemployment benefits or smaller paycheck. You need to live within your means, and if you use a credit card, you need to be able to pay down the balance. Often, creditors will increase your minimum payments with little warning. If you had a large balance before you lost your job, you'll have less income to pay off your debt. Your creditors do not care about your loss of income. They expect payment. If you're unable to make the payment, your creditors will increase the interest on your debt and decrease your credit line. Creditors will start calling you until a payment is made. If your payment is not made, your creditors will sue you. Creditors may attempt to get a judgment against you, resulting in frozen assets, wage garnishments, or liens against property. Collection calls and loss of income can put a strain on a relationship. Financial issues are a leading cause of divorce, and often a couple finds themselves with a big balance of debt. When you're a two-income household and have two income debts, loss of one of those incomes can cause missed payments and inevitably higher interest rates. I've had many clients who are contemplating divorce because of their debt. If you and your spouse have already decided to divorce, consider debt relief before the divorce is final. Your divorce attorney will create financial settlements and obligations for child support, alimony, and an agreement who's responsible for the marital debts. Divorce no longer consists of each spouse paying his or her own debts. That's a financial agreement between two parties. Once finalized, you could lose household income, be responsible for all debt, and have to pay child support and alimony. You may not be able to discharge the debt with a bankruptcy. Many of my previous clients going through a divorce have too many medical bills to pay. When a dependent is sick and there's not enough insurance to pay for the bills, the amount falls onto the parents. In some states, if the debt happens during your marriage, both spouses will be responsible. Often, a person will be in debt because of their spouse's medical conditions. I've known many nurses with insurance who have needed to file a bankruptcy because of medical bills. If there is an accident or you're diagnosed with cancer or a disease, the cost of medical procedures and loss of income for taking time off of work can force someone into bankruptcy. Insurance has become a costly solution to medical problems. Employers will only pay insurance if you work 32 hours or more a week in many cases. If your hours have been cut, your medical insurance may also be eliminated. The cost of private insurance has skyrocketed for individuals, and many families cannot afford private insurance. If you lose your job and apply for COBRA, you are facing high premiums with reduced income. Even if you are working, your insurance may not cover major medical procedures. Long-term illnesses can be complicated when it comes to debt relief. Even if you have a chronic condition, filing a bankruptcy will not eliminate future debt. Bankruptcy only discharges medical bills up to the date of filing. Credit counseling services may be able to help you to organize your medical bills into a repayment plan, but additional bills can cause your payment to increase. If you have a chronic illness, it would be better to wait until all medical bills come in.